On this episode of Around the House, it's a sale where everything is free. See what treasures we find as we spend a day with Grandma Bev. Then it's off to Sandy's Heritage Days in the town where I grew up. And among the show of cars, look who we find. And we learn that Sandy has quite the history. And believe it or not, but everything at this festival is completely free, including the delicious barbecue lunch. See what fun prizes we end up with at the end of the day, and subscribe for more fun.
We learned that from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. We are going to Grandma's party today at her church, and we are having a breakfast, I guess. And then our cousins will be here, and we're gonna go other places after, so yeah.
It's a little bit chilly, but would you rather be cold or hot?
Hot.
You'd rather be cold. You'd rather be hot. Why?
Because I want to be hot. It's been hot for a while.
It's been hot for a long time, huh?
Okay, I'm used to hot.
Tatum, is it nummy? Yeah?
Mommy, that is cold.
Cold. Where's Grandma? She over there?
Mom.
Grandma.
She's probably just saying.
Go find books that you want. You get to keep stuff.
They sell Christmas lights and they sell Christmas candles.
It's not for sale. It's free.
It is?
Yeah, everything in here is free. It's like a yard sale, but it's free.
Oh yeah, you told me about that, huh?
Yeah. Grandma's already here. Look at this tree.
Well, it might be glitter.
Yeah, it looks good.
I guess that's not well, I thought it looked like light.
Yeah, it's
Yes, that's beautiful. Look at it.
What is this?
These are my favorite designs.
Is it like a wedding dress?
Mom, look. Mom, look.
No.
It has a hood. Mom.
Dad's gonna be thrilled.
Mom, Tatum will love these if you see.
What'd you get?
The hat goes with it. I got this hat goes with it.
Oh my goodness. What'd you get?
Tatum?
What'd you get? You got a scarf?
Paisley, Tatum's right
Dress?
there. Mom, look at this.
Oh my goodness.
It's like
silly.
it's just an M&M or something.
Are you keeping? Oh, you got a horse? Show me the horse, honey. You love horses, huh?
I will love dress up.
Mom, look at they found these dresses. Looks like a wedding dress.
I love it.
Mom,
He looks mixed.
Mom, Grandma.
Look, yeah.
Mom, our pool has a
One of
roof in
these,
it.
absolutely.
Another pool, honey?
Yeah, we can get a new pool. Yeah, our pool has a roof in it.
I don't think Dad's gonna want another pool.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Skirt.
I know.
This blue one, look.
Oh, I put that back because it was really short.
Yeah.
You can wear it with pants. Okay, so we're trying to declutter our home. We've been trying to declutter our home, and then check this out.
There's shorts hooked up with it.
What is Manuel gonna say about this?
Pillows that we got. So Kevin and Tatum have these pillows that you fold up. Mom, look at our car. I know. Wait, where are we going now?
I don't know what Manuel's gonna say, but I think we better clean out our house some more when we get home to justify these new belongings.
Let me say something. I know what Manuel's going to say. He's going to love it because it's free. He doesn't have to spend money. And it's a shopper's paradise in there. It was so fun. And now we're going to take a tour and go to where Lindsay grew up, my home, It's just been painted on the outside, and we're going to say goodbye to it because it's going to get up for sale. We're putting it up for sale. This is, what are these? Strawberries or watermelon or something candy. And then this one I'm not sure unless you want it. This was going to be for Krista, but let's start with these. These were special. And then this can go in one of the girls' rooms. Look at this. They're thankful that they have Lindsay and Manuel for parents. So we'll get back in there.
Hey, get out of the car. Tatum, grab him, grab him, grab him.
Not like the stuff over where they, this is not, oh shoot! This is not like, grab it, go grab it. Don't get hit by a car. Cars.
The Planet Green.
This is really expensive stoneware, the kind I buy. I got these from the Cracker Barrel.
We're not
Phil, and they only had 2 left. Hey, look what I got you. Is it on? Hey, look what I got you. Stuff from the Cracker Barrel from the Canap trip. All right, so you got 2 of those, Lindsay. You like those?
Yeah.
It's really good, high quality stoneware.
Did you know at Target now, they make plates that look like stoneware, but they're not. They're like plastic, so they won't break.
I don't know. You fill it, decide if you want it or not. You can go out. It's really nice. They're all nice.
What do you use it for? A chocolate or something?
Oh, you can put candy things in it, or you can put it in your hutch. It's nice. It's just, I love it, but
Yeah.
it's just from the gift shop.
Cute.
You want that?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
What did you just do? Close that door, honey.
I opened that up and I was looking in and it looked oily, and then I saw this massive spider with a white sack on the bottom, and it was crawling up towards me.
Okay, that's gross. Grandma Bev painted her house. It looks nothing like it did. It used to have a black railing and white siding with tan shades, with tan window shutters.
Who's gonna get a prize for me? Go get
Pizza things.
All of it.
This is big scripture.
Beautiful.
Who made it?
I bought it at the DI, so I don't know, but I just love it. It's just, if you get the right frame, look how gorgeous it is. I mean, I just love oil painting. It's the real thing.
This used to be my room, but it did not look like this. It had a bed in it and carpet and peach wallpaper and peach curtains. Peach. It was the 80s, man.
So, wait, since it was
This
the
was the
80s, you
bathroom when
had
I grew up, but it didn't look anything like this.
My room, get my room.
dirtier,
My room had blue carpet.
newer and dirtier.
Go show them how nice it looks now. My room had blue carpet.
Yeah, this room used to have blue carpet and white walls and probably oak furniture.
And now it's gorgeous. All right, let's go. Come on, we're going. We have to go. It's starting right now. We have to go. Hurry, she still has to go. Okay? Let's go, Lindsay.
Okay, let's go.
I might just have to tell you to go to the dollar store today.
I know where it is.
Okay. I gotta finish cleaning up later, but I just feel like my real estate's at its peak, and it's never gonna work. Here, oh, what happened?
Oh my goodness! This is where my old school used to be. It was so tiny, and now they built this ginormous school. It looks like it has 2 levels. And from according to what my mom said, it's an elementary school that has lockers. All the kids have their own lockers. Wow, amazing. Amazing. It doesn't really go with the old real estate in the neighborhood. See that White House right there? When I was little, a girl's dad killed himself in that house.
That's nice.
And then they moved. Close that hand.
close.
I see. Okay, check it out, you guys.
Mom, it
Smells like yummy hamburgers. And there is a car show going on.
This sounds like something that our news would go to. I've seen them go to places like this. But I don't know. I like parks like this with big trees and wind. But it has to be on a windy day and a cloudy day.
How fun is this? Look, they have a cars
So this is a
bounce house and a car show.
Where's Grandma? Doesn't she like work? Grandma. Do you see Grandma?
Come on, buddy. Look how excited he is.
He should probably leave his toys. Or I guess he could leave.
Cute.
Do you see Grandma?
I don't see her anywhere.
I thought she has to go to work here. She was all rushing out the door and she's like, 10:30.
Okay.
Let's go. Where's Tatum?
Is that, and there's your, and then you don't want to wait too long for lunch over here.
Where's Tatum?
Because the lunch, you want to be one of the first ones for lunch
Where's
too.
Tatum?
He's over there. Go get him.
So you're going to want to do the tour bus and the voting and the lunch quickly, and then you can do this. I would do this last because the lunch you don't want to do this. You kind of gone. And you don't, okay. So you guys all know how this works.
Show Tatum the cars. Let's see if you can find it.
Look how big that one is.
Tatum, are you in heaven? Don't touch the cars, then.
Okay, I know which one I like.
Where are you going?
Okay, let's go back this way. I know which one I want to vote for.
Okay, which one? Tatum, you have to show Mommy your favorite out of all these cars. Which one's your favorite?
No, Tatum, there's one down here. Come look at it. This is my favorite. Let's go look at it.
Oh, look at it. Come on.
I recommend you go eat now. I would go eat now.
Tatum's here. Tatum, here. Already have one.
She volunteers. It's free. Hi, boys. You're on a bus. Okay, we're
Yeah.
boys are on a bus.
How does that lady know us outside named Beverly?
I don't know.
I didn't get a ticket.
Good morning, folks. Welcome aboard the historic Sandy Bus Tour. My name is Jeff Lovell. I'm a member of the Sandy Historic Preservation Committee. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. You can't see me very well because I'm sitting down. I'm going to sit this time. Mike kind of threw me around a little bit last time as we were going, so this might be a little bit easier. To give you a little bit of history on Sandy as we get started, pioneers came to Sandy in the 1860s, and at that point it was a farming community with very few people and widely spaced homes. Shortly thereafter, mining began in the nearby canyons, and the railroad arrived in 1877. Sandy then changed from a quiet agricultural village to a booming mining town. There were 3 smelters and 2 sampling mills here for testing ores that were brought down from the mines, and the railroad station was located almost directly across the street from where the Sandy Museum is. And we'll end the tour at the Sandy Museum, but we'll pass that railroad site. An engineer called Sandy Kinghorn, who was popular in this area. In 1893, Sandy's population was over 1,000, and Sandy incorporated and passed its first ordinances that year. The first mayor was Arthur J. Cushing, and Sandy at that point was 1 square mile, containing many thriving businesses, including 17 saloons. One of those saloons is up here on the left. Main Street was home to many saloons. Many old buildings were along this area or this section of Main Street. Many of those are gone. Some have been replaced. Swede's Saloon is this building up here on your left, where the Bridge Tree Center is located. That was one of the 19 saloons on Main Street in Sandy in the late 1800s, and it was built by Hans Bjork and Ole Nilsson. Over here on your right is a new building made to look historic, where once stood Sandy's old hotel, and some believe it was the first Marriott hotel in the area. We don't believe they had a Starbucks in the lobby at that time. It housed many of the itinerant miners who came to this area in the 1860s when silver was discovered in Little Cottonwood Canyon. That's the original site of that post office. On the right, where you see the small police substation, here, this brick building. This was the old Sandy Confectionery. It was once the town's liquor store, complete with an old-fashioned soda bar. Years before that, it was a pharmacy run by one of the early Jewish residents, Mr. Charlier. He had both the pharmacy and the state liquor license. Now gone is the Rasmussen Meat Market and the C.C. Crapo string of stores or grocery stores that used to sell dry goods, meats, and produce along in this area. At the end here, on the right, this building, you can see the brick building here on the right where the quilt store is. That was Sandy's original bank, built in 1907. And you can still see the original bank vault door if you were able to go inside. University of Utah flag, go Utes. This home was built in 1910 and is among the best preserved examples of a central block and projecting bays type of house that was fairly common in Sandy at the time. Its Victorian eclectic detailing is expressive of the level of craftsmanship attained locally. And it's owned today by one of our historic committee members, Tim Zuber. This next building on the left is also one of our historic treasures here in the neighborhood, and this one's owned by another member of our historic preservation committee, Peggy. And then directly ahead as we make the turn is the Sandy Elementary. Sandy Elementary was built in 1950. In front of the school was the original site of the elementary that was built in 1907. Okay, on our right-hand side, this open area here is the former school site. In this area, there was a two-story schoolhouse where the upper level burned at one point, and the remaining building was used for several years as a senior center before the new senior center was built up on 13th East. Over on our left is the Sandy LDS Rec Center. This is the site of the original First Ward building, Sandy First Ward building, the very first LDS ward that was constructed here in Sandy. It was in the parking lot of this Sandy Rec Center. The Sandy Rec Center has been here for many years and is a popular site here in the neighborhood for shows and activities. And this subdivision was called the Flagstaff Edition. Its name comes from the old Flagstaff smelter that stood where the Bicentennial Park is today. These original homes were mostly built by the same contractor, which is why many of them look alike. If you'll notice, some of these historic homes have the Sandy Historic marker or placard next to the door. That's an indication that they are part of the historic registry and are some of the homes that we're trying to maintain and preserve. At the top of 8800, before we get to 700 East, is the site of the old ice pond. It was located there on 7th East and 8800 South. The ice pond was used to provide ice for the rest of the year to refrigerate food. Again, folks, these are the homes in the Flagstaff addition, Sandy's first neighborhood.
Oh, come on, let's go. That is really cute. I like that one. Would you ever, I mean, I guess I should say, what would it take for you to live in a would you like that? I guess it would depend on the price. I like it.
Folks, on your left is the Niels Thompson home,
Oh, it has a
one of the
skeleton.
historic homes in this neighborhood.
Look at that.
And over on your right is the Sandy Historic Community Garden, where several members of the neighborhood
Oh, the pumpkin patch, right?
come together to grow fresh vegetables.
We got our pictures
Feel free to
taken
stop
that
by
way.
here later if you'd like.
Do you guys remember taking our pictures taken there at the pumpkin patch?
Where congregants would bring their tithes to be counted and sorted. It's now a duplex.
Tide house.
That's the old tithing house. It's a great building.
That's right. You bring your tithing. There is a whole house tithing. Our house that is built underground. That's really cool. Anyways, the whole house is underground. There's a door at the top that you might have to get into.
As I mentioned, when Sandy
But why are the doors open? Oh yeah, so they can put pictures.
and the brick was then sealed to prevent water damage. We hope to have this nice historic building for many years to come. And then, as I mentioned earlier, across the street east of the Sandy Museum is where the old railroad station used to be.
Oh, yeah.
And the smelter was just a little bit further north. That was used for, again,
It is. It's so many. You like that one? Hey. Come take a picture with us? Yeah, come take a picture. All right.
I like the glass dinosaur.
The Beverly Hillbillies song. That's Beverly Hillbillies song.
Yeah. Show Mom the Beverly Hillbillies song.
I like
This
the
is the Jethro. All right, get in your food. Okay, get your food. Get a plate. Okay, go down the line, guys.
I'm going to get Oliver some food, Jared. I'm going to get him some food. Mom, it's Tennessee.
He just went down the slide and he bounced too high and he landed on the
It's raining, but it's not that bad. Nice little drizzle. Gabe's scared of the bees.
Oh, I remember earlier when there was a bee on my plate.
And the band's taking a break. Go for it, Easton. Woo! Good job. Nice try, Gabe. Thanks. Oh, we're
Take a peek, Pink! Tristan! Run! Run, Tristan! Run! Run, Tristan!
Mom will hold it for you.
You go in there. Go in there. Go here. Turtle. Go see the turtle.
That was harsh. You're still in.
Okay, don't leave yet. You're not leaving me yet, are you?
No.
Hi, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh, the goat. What are we looking at? Listen to the goat. You can hear him talk.
I think the goat is getting jealous.
This was on the farm. So funny. When we went to visit Dad, and he was going to take us to the cattle farm to milk the cows, but we didn't have time. Oh, he has so much planned. Look at that little bit like to stick it nuzzle his nose right between your legs. Bite your toes. He's lucky. Justin, Todd's, friend, bought a condo up there. It was his parents' condo. He bought it, and they see spirits walking around in the condo all the time. And they live right here. They live right here in that grave.
Yikes.
Where is this? In Midway.
What time
There's
is
the
it?
grave right there. Yeah.
You saw this.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of people there at nighttime? Was it better?
What time is it?
17 hours. Give me a
I'm like, okay, you're so cute. I can't say no.
see my baby tonight.
He threw up yesterday. He was eating spaghetti, and he was laying on his back, and he threw up, and it went all over his head, and he looked like he was covered in like blood. Like he looked like Carrie from the horror movie. And he had noodles and just like sauce all over his face, down his whole clothes. I know.
Why did he do it? Was he choking?
He was choking on a gummy bear or something.
Oh my god.
Look at Oliver.
Yeah. Mom, are you dancing?
Time to shop for presents.
Watch out for Oliver, Ashley. Oliver. He was dancing. Yeah, he was. He won't go too far from you guys, right? He's still at that stage.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's not no stranger danger. Not
No.
okay.
He's not. I don't think he's old enough yet. He's scared.
Then you put the butter in here, like that.
Wow.
And then you press it down so it's tight like that. Yeah, so you have your butter.
And then how do you get it out?
And then it's the butter paddle. So you get it out with the paddle.
Oh, that's really neat.
And there's some really neat things here. I need the lady. Carolyn?
Here, but see, the negatives are on, whoops,
They're on glass.
Oh my gosh.
and so then this is the pictures that she
Printed.
got from them, and that's the camera. She can tell you a whole bunch. Yeah. See, so they slide these glass plates in, and then it would put the. I don't know how they did it. Like a projector. And so when they got done, they would take the plate out and then print the picture from it.
Oh my goodness.
And they found this in an old barn. They found this box in an old barn that someone was going to tear down. just up in there that've been there forever.
And do they know whose pictures they are?
Yeah, she knows some of them. She knows some of them.
She knows some.
So it was in her family?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I know, I thought she just inherited or got it at some sale or
Yeah. No, it was in her family. Wow, that's really neat. Isn't that neat? To have organizations.
Right. Sunday school songs.
Yeah, and I was going to show the DUP is an international organization actually.
Right.
It's and that we belong to, and they have this newsletter that they send out. What, 4 times a year? Is that 3 or 4? I don't know. I think 3 times maybe. 3 times a year, and they have pictures of people in it, daughters that have done some fun things, and like we do things like this outreach and stuff. So it's really, and those are some old recipes. It's a newer book.
She said, normally, I said, your door doesn't say you're open. She goes, well, we were open till 1. And then she said she was here longer, but she had to go pick somebody up. Her workers bailed on her. They might still be open. I don't know. So.
Well, this is a cute little turning town square.
We just didn't know. What do you think happened back in those days when people lived here in the turn of the century in the early 1900s?
They just sat on benches in front of stores like you did, and
I mean, how would you like to have lived back then?
it'd be fun. Hey, girls, I'm gonna get a picture of you.
Mr. Chocolate's in there.
Stand by the cute thing.
There's always a light. She's alive. How? She's in your seat. Welcome to the pumpkin patch. Welcome to the pumpkin
Who are you?
patch.
Who are you? One-Eyed Willie?
I'm a person. Pumpkins are over here. Right here.
Well, Lindsay, I wonder if they're having a festival. Maybe it's next year. You'll need to look it up on
Mom,
your
the
internet.
pumpkins are over here.
Is that a lamb in that thing? What is that? Little baby lamb or something?
There's a pumpkin. I found a pumpkin.
Where? This is a community garden.
Where's the pumpkin, Mom?
It's right there.
Guess what else we got invited to today, Lindsay, that you could have gone to?
What?
The side of the road.
Oh my gosh, look at those little baby quails.
Look how fast they run. Look, there's another baby squirrel.
They are? I just love to film everything in life.
Look at those